You are watching the National Entertainment Network.
Good evening, I am Airre Barouche. Tonight, I would like to discuss the art of happiness. I say art, since it is certainly not a science. What is happiness? What does it mean to live without stress, fear, guilt, loneliness, and sadness? Obviously, the many factors that dominate our daily life comes into play, making it virtually impossible at any specific time in life to recognize what makes us happy. Happiness takes on a litany of diverse meanings for each of us. Happiness for me, as I am sure it does for you, holds many connotations. But if stated simply, happiness is a feeling of well-being. And if only for a moment life has joy, lived without stress, guilt, or fear, sadly, in today's world finding that level of true happiness is not an easy task. Life in today's society is filled with demands and pressures, from employment and financial concerns to family issues, social interactions, loss of relationships, and of course the loss of loved ones who have passed. And this is not to mention the chasm formed by the hateful rhetoric of politics that has cast a shadow of gloom so separating this country. Yes, happiness can be quite elusive, often seeming to be an impossible goal. But regardless of circumstances, it is a psychological imperative to mental stability that some level of happiness be found, if only intermittently, in one's life. Unfortunately, there is no magic pill that can bring contentment of existence to anyone. Having said that, if you thought to yourself that there are all kinds of drugs that can bring you to a happy place, forget about it. Emotion-altering drugs will ultimately destroy you. Happiness must be found from within you. There is no one who can make you happy without you letting them do so. It is your decision. Inversely, there is no one who can make you unhappy unless you let them. You are in control of who you let into your life and permitting them to stay. As we age, we tend to reflect on the past, often spending far too much time lamenting the aging process itself. For myself, I embrace my age, and rather than grieve over my aging body and the few years that I have left, I celebrate my maturity along with the aches, pains, and failing health, all a true gift of a life lived. Yes, I know that the past can hold deep sorrows and memories of loved ones now no longer with us. There are tragedies that befall us all, haunting us with regrets and sorrow, and far too often filled with guilt, anger, and even hatred. These tragedies and losses can of course never be erased, that I fully understand. But to relive them over and over, letting them steal the happiness and contentment you sincerely deserve, is psychologically destructive and will ultimately spiral into a depression. And if endured for too long of a period of time, the depression will become irreversible. As a well-matured person, believe me when I say that the negative emotions and memories that you may harbor are robbing you of the most rewarding time in your life and the years of happiness yet to be enjoyed. You must escape your past that takes from you what joy and happiness you should be experiencing. Happiness is all that matters at any stage of existence. What is life? Is it nothing more than a process of survival until you die? Animals in the wild spend their entire existence surviving, reproducing, and then dying, or depending upon the animal's status, meet an untimely demise before even getting started in their simple existence. I personally believe we are more than just an animal surviving and reproducing. We possess the ability to experience a vast variety of emotions and feelings well beyond that of just a mere animal, with pleasure, joy, and happiness being part of that list of emotions we can and should experience. For those individuals in the midst of life, handling a job, family, and the pressures of just mere survival it can be overwhelming, not to mention the difficulty and the related stress in trying to advance in today's society. Oh yes, achieving happiness is a difficult and an ongoing task. The responsibility of life can take its toll on anyone and leaving happiness in very short supply. For many of us, the acquisition of material things provides a short-term boast in our perceived happiness, but that will continually fall far of providing any ongoing level of happiness or satisfaction in life. Humankind is an emotional being, and placating those emotional needs with material possessions will never provide the stress-free happiness that is so needed for full human development. So, what can be done to find happiness and a reasonable level of contentment in life? Certainly, there are no direct answers, but there is a list of items that can be put into place that can enrich your psychological well-being. The people that surround you in life play a major role in your emotional well-being. However, please keep in mind it is your decision on to what degree you permit them to influence your state of mind. If you sense nothing but hostility and animosity from someone in your life, particularly someone in a superior role, and you are confident this is not taking place because of your behavior or wrongs you may have committed against them, then you have two choices. You either divorce yourself from this toxic relationship, or if that is not possible, then you must find a way of living with the conditions of involvement with this individual. This can be done by buffering their input, weigh their importance based on what degree you will permit them to affect you. May be easier said than done, but a necessity for your well-being. Obviously, a person's financial situation can be a factor, particularly to what extent it affects one's living conditions. This, of course, falls into the survival aspect of existence. What is interesting is the number of people in which money and living conditions are not a concern, yet happiness and contentment still elude them. I'm going to use an analogy that some may find offensive, but it may make a point in finding a life of reasonable happiness. I often see on various social media sites videos of a three-legged dog running around and enjoying life like nothing is wrong. They have permitted their minds to accept their situation and adapt to what is now their reality. They seemingly live as though nothing is wrong. Life moves on. Obviously, a human being is more complicated than a dog, but the message here is that if there is nothing that can be done about the circumstances of existence, why live with the depression over something you cannot control? You must accept those aspects of life that are beyond your ability to change and let life move on. It is important you understand, to ever find any level of happiness and contentment, you must put yourself first. You must do everything in your power to take control of your life and your surroundings. Before you can find any contentment in life, you must be in command of your own existence. There will always be those who look to dominate and influence everyone around them. You cannot control them, but you are in complete control of how you react and how you let them affect you. Happiness may seem to be an elusive state of being, but once understood, you have the power to control your own state of mind and how to manage the pressures of life that surrounds them. Happiness can then be pursued and found. A life lacking a reasonable level of joy and contentment is a life destined to exist with frustration and depression. Take some time to examine those aspects of your life that is restricting your ability to bring happiness and contentment into your life. As you identify these issues, understand that if you cannot eliminate it, you must find a way of living with it. If the three-legged dog can ignore a missing limb, you can surely overcome the issues that are robbing you of a happy existence. Life is far too short to waste a single minute not enjoying it. Take care, my friends. This is Airre Barouche. Good night.